Hey, what's up? It's Mike D from Sail Junky magazine. Today's video is the second video in a three-part series, a boat consult with Captain Paul Foer. If you haven't seen the first video, it's here on the playlist and you can go ahead and watch that. That's where we start with Captain Paul. He meets me at my boat, Magick Byrd, who's up on the Hard. This was quite a while ago, last year, and we started to go through the boat from the hull up. So we started working with the keel and looking at the running gear and everything like that. So that's the first video. This video, we're going to bring it up to the deck, and Captain Paul's going to walk through the deck with me, go through the cockpit, the deck, what kind of winches I have, rigging, all that kind of stuff that we've got to look at on the top side of the vessel to understand what I've got. Again, this is a boat consult that Captain Paul did for me, and what I've learned in this process is this boat consult can be priceless. I really wish I had done one before I bought the boat, because having somebody with the knowledge of like Captain Paul does to go through a boat with you and really understand what it is you're looking for, what you're trying to achieve, would be priceless. I didn't do that prior. I'm still happy with my boat and the work that I've been doing on it. It's great, but I really do see the value of having somebody work with you to understand what your desires are from a sailing perspective, to be able to buy the right boat for you. Captain Paul will tell you every boat's a compromise, but I think some are going to be less than others, and it's really about what your needs are and what your goals are. So having somebody to be able to consult with you in that way is pretty phenomenal. Captain Paul went through the boat completely with me to really understand the systems I have, some of the things that need to be done, and he really helped me and has been helping me understand the order in which I can do things. Paul is also well connected in the sailing industry, and he's been able to connect me with various people like Chuck O'Malley at Chesapeake Sails, and Andrew at AA Marine Services, and others in the industry that have been truly super helpful. So not only is it somebody to be able to help you understand the vessel you've got, but really help you understand the industry and that sailing culture in general. So looking forward to finishing out this series. The next one after this will be down inside the boat. We're going to look at the cabin, we're going to look at the motor, those kind of things. So I really hope you enjoy this. Thanks.
Okay, so just a few more things about the cockpit and the deck. I do like the feel of the wheel, and look how you can sit back like this. Isn't this nice? You're going to get some cushions out here. So having the compass inside like this, it looks like your compass doesn't have a bubble in it. It looks like the globe is fairly clear. And by the way, this metal cover, it's just like hundreds of dollars for one of these. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Everything on a boat, more expensive, more difficult, more expensive, more complicated than it should ever be.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. Just the way it is. So enjoy it and get used to it.
So we talked about Autopilot. I'm getting rid of this because I don't trust this, and I am looking at a hydraulic Autopilot to put back down inside here that hooks directly up to my...
And you've got the room for it.
Yep.
It's not anything you need now.
Right.
It's not going to keep you from sailing.
Correct.
In fact, you'll probably learn a lot better, a lot faster by always being
at the helm,
at the wheel anyhow. Okay, so there's a lot of things that can be done here. An awful lot of things. They're related to rigging, they're related to teak, they're related to gauges, they're related to wiring. And as you know, none of these things are going to keep you from sailing now.
Right.
So we're going to walk forward, again, always holding on to something. First thing I noticed, they're very, very wide decks. It's very easy to get from the deck onto the coach roof or cabin top. But there's an awful lot of clutter here. You want to keep it simple. what are all these various winches for? I don't know. Do you need them? No. Because really all you need are winches to raise sails and winches to control sails. And a winch for the anchor, which I don't think there is one. But we'll talk about that in a minute.
All right.
I don't want to get into rigging and spars and all this and all that, but there's many, many things that you can do here. And one of the things that I really, really recommend is installing what's called the Strong Track. I believe it's made by Tides Marine in Virginia. Strong Track is this heavy plastic track that goes up here. Then you have the sails modified with the cars and the ball bearings. And what the Strong Track does, it eliminates friction to get the sail up and eliminates friction getting the sail down. And then you get a fully battened main, and you get a system like a easy main or a stack pack, some kind of a system with lazy jacks, which you already have. So the sail always comes down into its own pocket, and basically it's the sail cover all in one, zips it all up, the sail gets put away. I don't know if I see any out here now, but you have options here.
Sure.
And again, you want simplicity. Now, one of the things you'll notice is this halyard. These are gone. We don't see these anymore. And there's a reason why. First of all, look what happened here, man.
It got tweaked.
But get rid of this guy. This is a killer. Okay, this is controlling the friction on here. It's a clutch. Everything about this is just is dangerous, and I would get rid of this as a priority, because this is your main halyard, correct? I believe it's your main halyard.
I'm not sure yet.
Yeah. But having to use this system is so dangerous, because if you let go of the winch, the handle, when this is under load, that thing just is going.
Yeah.
It's a killer. So here again, I mean, look at the condition of this line, and the fact that this has been sitting here for years, but they put in brand new canvas.
Yeah.
Good for you, but pretty much all your running rigging is going to need to go. I mean, you might be able to clean this and bring it back. If it's way longer than you need, cut it off. You'll never get this clean. And what's happening is all the dirt and mold in here is wearing away the fiber and weakening the halyard. Once your lines are exposed to weather, it almost always becomes very, very difficult, if not next to impossible, to do any splicing to them, especially on twisted line. Braided line's a little bit more pliable, a little bit different, but you just have no idea about the condition of any of these lines. And also, I mean, I'd have to spend hours here with you just figuring out what everything goes to. I mean, why do you have all these additional halyards? Now, you said the boat came with a lot of sails. Well, there's part of your answer.
Sure.
But which goes to which? And if you follow all these up to the top, try to figure out what's going on, where they go to, there's nothing wrong with having extra halyards, okay? An extra halyard could be used in a person overboard situation. It could be used to lift up a dinghy. Obviously, it's going to be used for things like other sails, as we said. But who really knows what's going on here? And this is the whole spinnaker setup. What you might want more than a spinnaker is just a whisker pull for downwind sailing. A poleless spinnaker is probably a damn good thing for you, especially if it can be handled by one person, which it probably can be.
Mm-hmm.
Again, there's probably nothing at this point with the rigging and the sails that's going to stop you from sailing. But what I do notice though is we know the rig needs to be tuned. I think they talked to you about that in the survey, because the mast is bent back a little bit, which is okay, and you do have the hydraulic backstay. And the spreaders are tight. The spreaders have tips on them. And you've got, looks like you've got deck floodlights up there, which is a nice thing. You've got door ads here. Good ventilation is critical. A lot of boats I get on, they have no ventilation. So what they do is they leave them plugged into the dock with the air conditioner going all the time.
Yeah.
I would expect that you have insects have gone into here. And you want to make sure that there's screens on the inside. So what happens on these wonderful old door ads, and if you wanted one day, you had a lot of money to spend, you get them chromed or bronze, right? But this ventilator goes down, and instead of having a hole beneath it, the hole's to one side or the other. So rain will never get in, but air is moving through. When you're at anchor, you turn both of these forward, and when you're out in the ocean, you generally are going to take these off and replace the screw caps in them. But these are wonderful to have. It's very, very hard to clean this PVC, and over time you clean them, you clean them, you clean them. These are not that dirty though. These are real old style hatches. What you're missing from here is light.
Yeah.
They're translucent and they're not attractive.
Right.
You could possibly find replacement hatches, or you're going to have to install all new ones. There's a lot of options with hatches. I would get hatches that actually let light in and maybe have screens for them as well. It looks to me like your teak handrails are okay. They're not really worn down, they're okay. They're not that difficult to care for. I just oil mine.
Yeah.
Because if you varnish them, they're slippery.
I have
you lose the handle grip.
I have an idea from what that channel Sailing Uma did to replace this with stainless.
Yes, you can do that.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, that may be cheaper than having teak handrails made. What happens is you can get machine teak handrails, and they're not all that expensive, believe it or not. But
each hole is a hole.
Yeah, they're made now. The teak handrails that you can get factory made, not special ordered, don't necessarily fit these. And yeah, so to put in stainless, which requires no maintenance.
Right.
The only thing with stainless is they get cold and they get slippery. So what I would do is wrap them with cord. But these are fine. This is not going to keep you from sailing, obviously.
Right.
Now it looks to me like this rigging is a hell of a lot newer than the boat, and I'm glad to see it. First thing you look for is, are the threads bottomed out? In other words, have these been tightened and tightened over time till they're no longer can be tightened. But first of all, there's every indication that the forks and the turnbuckles are all newer, or all replacement, but these pads were not. Now, one thing I do know about rigging is you can look carefully, as carefully as you want, all over the place. You may or may not find any potential areas of cracking or weakening. But one thing you never can see until you do a lot of work is what's going on with your chain plates. And stainless steel will deteriorate over time when it's not exposed to oxygen. We don't know if these chain plates have ever been pulled up, because what the riggers do is they polish them and put them under a microscope and look for any hairline fractures or little cracks that might be developing, because it's never been exposed to air. And you also don't know when the last time these were rebedded with caulk, or now people also use butyl tape. So you think about the difference between exposure with your decks to exposure of the hull. Decks are going to be built a little bit differently than the hull because they don't have to have all that strength. You need them lighter. If you get a problem of water infiltrating your decks, you could have real serious problems. Now you notice a few little cracks around here, right? A few little cracks around here. How serious are all those? Well, you don't know.
Yeah.
And so it may take a lot of investigation to figure out, because if you do start to have water penetrating in there, well, the first question is, where does the water go? Right. Wherever it goes, it's going to do bad stuff. And eventually, it's going to end up going down and deteriorating wood, or causing mold, or weakening something. So decks are always an issue, and where they are almost likely an issue is often right up here toward the bow. Okay. Just a feel here tells me, I mean, it's feeling good. Again, you want to tap it out. You want to put the moisture meter on here, but I don't feel any flexing, which is often on the bow. You've got a big open bow area here. What I don't see is a windlass or a winch. And do you need one? Well, it depends. The philosophy of Lynn and Larry Pardey was, you never get a boat bigger. How do they say it? The biggest boat you ever want to get is one where the largest anchor you need can be handled by one person without a winch. So, 8 years from now, are you going to be able to handle an anchor up here by yourself?
8 years from now, I'll have a windlass.
Yeah. So then the question is, what kind of windlass? Where exactly do you place it?
Right.
How do you wire it up? That's going to involve putting a battery up here, because if you had the battery way back there, the size of cable you would need to carry the amperage and the voltage you'd need. So you'd want to have it up here. You want to have foot controls for it. And then you're also going to have to do some work up here to be able to hold two anchors, because a boat that's going to go where you're going to want to go, you want two anchors. When you head out to sea, you take the anchors off, you put them down in the bilge somewhere. Good old Harkin system. I'm sure the riggers went all through this. And it looks like you're missing.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be the pin retracts through there. So this is always a trip hazard, but in this case it's more of a danger because it's not strapped down.
Right.
Looks like you've got a good gasket around here. So I'm just trying to calculate all the various things that you could do, that you should do, that you might want to do. Figure out where all these guys go. These ropes are looking in pretty good shape.
All those were down here.
Yeah.
Inside here, and I took them out to give us space to crawl around.
Well, like this guy isn't really much use anymore, but you'd have to really have the rigger go through all this. There is a secondary market to resell a lot of this, no doubt about it. So we're going to enter the cabin.
All right.
So one of the Herrschaffs said something or other. What was it in his famous book about the complete cruiser, was it? At the purpose of the cabin, you only go down there to lay down, or to sit, or to stand for a very brief while. That's all the room you need.
I'm good with that.
So you've got a big heavy bridge deck up here. This is the bridge deck. So the actual, if you were to ship water in here in bad weather, there would only be that much water could get in.
Right.
And you've got two big heavy drains forward there. We already looked at the drain system for that. You've got a lot of storage, but this is just my opinion. There's advantages and disadvantages, but what you lose here is the ability to stretch out because you're always going to be on. How important is that? That depends.
So that's the deck. The next video in this series is going to be down in the cabin, where we go from the V berth all the way back. And, you know, Captain Paul really kind of goes over all the different systems and the things I need to be thinking about. I want to thank Captain Paul from Forefront.com for doing this series with me, and I look forward to getting the next one out. We're also going to be doing some other items too, where we meet different individuals in the sailing community, maybe sail makers and stuff like that, so that we can continue to bring some of these insights to this channel. I hope you appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.